Welcome back to the channel.
Today we are doing some more exploring in Columbia,
South Carolina, at the South Carolina State Museum.
So let's go get lost in some South Carolina history.
This is pretty cool. There's a lot of cool murals and artwork here in Columbia.
So this is a tub water mill from the 1800s, and some water wheels I guess are vertical, but this wheel was designed to be horizontal. And wheels like this were used in rivers with a fall of at least 3 feet or less, which made it a good design for waterways in the Midlands.
Check out the 2 planetarium projectors that they have out here. These are super cool. Did you ever do as a kid, they put like this tent up in your school and then they would do like a miniature planetarium? Macy said she never had it in her school. Let us know in the comments. Did you ever have one at yours? Because we did. It was pretty cool. So this is the Palmetto Gate. It's from Charleston County. It was actually designed by blacksmiths, which is kind of cool. Look at the detail. Can you imagine handcrafting all this stuff by hand? That's awesome.
You definitely get like that Savannah, New Orleans vibe. Coastal South.
Check out the petrified wood.
They found this in a gravel quarry, and it weighs 4 tons, and it's believed to be more than 1,000,000 years old.
1,000,000 years old, holy cow. That's awesome. It's like a little stone piece. Pretty cool. That is one massive shark.
Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark.
Mama shark, dude. So I'm a little sad when I shot this. I thought it was real, but it is just a replica shark's jaw. That's kind of disappointing.
Of whatever that guy is, I think.
Some kind of cool shark teeth. I guess you can find them on the shores here in South Carolina. That's probably what it's about.
My brother-in-law likes to collect shark teeth.
Yeah.
Shout out Joel.
It's pretty cool. Looking at the hammerhead. You should check out our last Georgia aquarium video where the hammerheads were like scooting around getting food out of a cone. It's pretty neat too. I didn't realize that that was all bone that made their hammerhead. They look like that for reference.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
'Tis the circle of life.
Wow, it's pretty interesting. There's a little mouse. It's so cute. And then they're like, oh my God. And as Nacy said when the camera wasn't on, it's the circle of life.
Oh, Kelly Clarkson.
You call them consumers? That is a horrible thing. Consumers are like purchasing. It's consumers. That's a predator. That is prey.
They're calling them consumers because they seek out food rather than make it. It's a very loose.
Yes. It seems like they got marketing speaking here. So he kind
How
of looks
many
like
kinds of animals does the frog eat?
I was just looking at the cute turtle. He's very cute. I like the turtle.
He's a snapping turtle.
Yeah, he's snapping. There's a sideways fish. Oh, there's a snaky
I
snake.
think these are all taxidermied animals, by the way.
No, that frog is plastic. What do y'all think? Let us know in the comments, but I think that frog looks plastic. And the turtle kind of looks plasticky too. One of the funny stories about brown bears, when we used to live with my father at his house in northern Georgia, we had 2 dogs. And there's like this family of brown bears that came into his backyard one night, and they didn't do anything the entire time the bear was there. The bear left, and like 30 minutes later, they got up and started crying and stuff and huffing. It was like, it's a little late, big guys, a little late. Brown bears are cute, very dangerous. There are really some graphic depictions in this museum. Here's a snake getting ready to eat another mouse. They really like their taxidermy mouses to be eaten, I guess. All right, I don't know if you can see, but it says South Carolina Habitats. And then it doesn't explain what colors are. So
I'm pretty sure this is coastal. This is the low country. This is the Midlands. And I don't remember what they call these two, because we separate our DSA like this too.
Fancy.
Yeah.
We have an insider's knowledge here.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but
So let us know in the comments how wrong she is.
I'm very wrong, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure it's pretty close.
I didn't realize they had a whole Blue Ridge area.
So here's the actual map. Macy was pretty close. She got the coastal zone. The middle one's not labeled yet. I imagine it'll be on a different one. Sandhills, Piedmont, and then Blue Ridge. Fascinating. And then they have little windows showing each. So there's a black bear. There's some snakes up there. Kind of interesting.
And it says that the Blue Ridge is characterized by high peaks and ridges and low valleys. So I actually would kind of like to go check it out. Apparently Table Rock State Park is out there, and Sassafras Mountain.
Sassafras.
I want to go see Sassafras Mountain. That sounds like a fun road trip. What do you say?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Look at that chunky beaver.
There's a lot. Oh, there's a bobcat all the way in the back corner.
Again, another death scene. They literally love their death scenes here.
I mean, it's the circle of life. And then there's a snake back up over there.
I do love their snakes.
And then in here, there are turtles and fish and what looks like a crawdad or crawfish. It looks like crawfish down in the bottom.
One of the displays for the most dangerous animals on the planet. The backyard.
The backyard.
I see a bike, a grill. There is a black snake by the hose.
Good catch.
It's kind of interesting here. It's like hidden animals.
Yeah.
So you gotta find, it's like hidden animals. There's
It's
a
like a
squirrel
little-
in the tree.
Little scavenger hunt.
Yeah, they ought to actually do that. You ought to actually, if you're watching this South Carolina State Museum, do a scavenger hunt for the displays and see how many animals people can find in these. Give them something to do while they're here. Especially with all the kids roaming around. So like every good museum, there's a dinosaur display.
This is the Maiasaura piblesaurium.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's about to get eaten by something else. They really love their violence in this museum, I have to be honest.
And this was actually recovered in 2 pieces. It's believed to be a juvenile specimen, about half grown, and it was collected by a Dr. Jack Horner of the Museum of the Rockies, which, funny enough, is actually where I was a couple weeks ago, in Bozeman, Montana.
Fascinating. Check out our video from Bozeman, Montana, up in that top right-hand corner.
It is a smaller version of its close relative, the Tyrannosaurus albertosaurus.
So this is the predator in this display. This one was found in North Dakota.
It's kind of interesting to think that at one point in time, the Earth had creatures like this just walking around, you know? I think it's fascinating. I don't think we ever need to bring back the dinosaurs, personally, but I find it fascinating to think that there was life before us. So, I don't believe in evolution. Or, no, I don't believe in, what is it?
Creationism.
Creationism, that's it. Indoctrination in my head there, slipping out.
Hashtag legit ramble. That's pretty cool. Some cool classic car right here. It's a 37 Dodge pickup. Something I find interesting too is it was in a barn from 68 till 98 until they donated it to the museum.
That's awesome.
It looks better than the Saratoga Museum cars, so you should check that video out too in the
Yeah.
upper right-hand corner. This is a 27 Humpmobile. I'm calling it a Humpmobile even though it looks like it's a Hoopmobile. But,
It was an optometrist in Hopkins, South Carolina that had purchased a 6-cylinder in 1927.
That's stylish.
And in 1989, his grandson sold the car to a Dr. Freddie Zink, who restored it and recently donated it to the State Museum. The back of the $10 bill, designed in the late 1920s, features the Humpmobile in the front of the U.S. Treasury.
Interesting. It's pretty neat. It's a 04 Oldsmobile Model 6C. And it's
from
1904 in case you're thinking
1904,
2004.
It has 1 cylinder, a 7-horsepower engine, a 5-gallon gas tank. It gets 25 miles to the gallon. It has 2 forward speeds and a reverse. It is able to maintain a speed of 20 miles per hour. And it was built in Detroit. They don't do that anymore. And it was the first car to be successfully mass-produced identically. It was also the first car to become wildly popular. And about 15,000 were sold altogether.
Check out like the braking system and stuff. It's just a simple like pull lever system. Really neat. It looks like a jack in the middle that actually steers and drives it. It's really fascinating.
That's pretty cool.
So you can push the button and it turns on the internal combustion engine. I feel like it's missing some pieces, but the belts work.
It's from the 1970 Chevrolet Vega.
I think my father had a Chevy Vega.
Part of the aluminum block has been cut away to reveal its inner workings.
That's pretty cool. A big old train set up in here. I guess it's an early steam engine. Let's go closer and find out. This is from the Best Friend, which was the train that went the first 6 miles in South Carolina on the tracks. Interesting. Oh, it's a replica, so it's not even the real one, guys. Come on.
But at least it's historically accurate in the sense that the black man is putting the coal in and the white man is up at the front.
So apparently that's another replica of the plane that was first flown. It's like a crop duster type plane.
That's cool. I crop dust in Walmart.
Lucky Doc Brown didn't get pushed back into this time frame because this only tops out at 30 miles per hour and I believe he needs to go slightly faster to go back in time. Pretty cool. There's the South Carolina Railroad by fairs and stuff. Pretty cheap, by the way. 50 cents for 15 miles, $6.75 for 136. So what do you think about riding this for 9 hours at a time?
Hell no.
So apparently they left at 4:30 in the morning from here, stopped at noon for lunch, and then they wouldn't get there till they started at 9, and then wouldn't get to their destination till like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, I will say this, it has more legroom than the planes. Not by much, but
That's kind of true.
and you could probably, like stand up and like stretch your legs, and I mean, I guess you just talk to people on the train and maybe read if you were allowed to read.
Fascinating though, right?
Yeah.
9 hours on this thing.
That's crazy. That was a long time.
This is pretty awesome. This is how they used to build canoes, y'all. Look, this is how big trees used to be.
It's a cypress. And they used cypress wood because it was plentiful and the roots resisted rot.
I mean, look at this thing. This is crazy. Imagine how long it took them to bore it out.
And they basically had to
Yeah,
chisel it out.
that is awesome. I just can't believe how thick the tree trunk is. That is so cool.
That's pretty cool.
Apparently the hull cracked, so they did all that work. The hull cracked, so they had to stop and start all over again. Well, that would be fun.
Nope.
Here's what they call a wigwam, and it's like a living structure.
Wigwam.
Go check out our Arizona Botanical Gardens one. They actually had some, Western wigwams. It's pretty neat. There's a little entryway. It's got mirrors. pretty neat. And in South Carolina. So apparently shrimp is South Carolina's most prominent seafood. They have white, pink, and brown. I don't know, Lieutenant Dan. Check this diorama out. A lot of effort was put in that boat. And then they just kind of drag the sea bottoms apparently. Look at that. It's a fascinating process to get shrimp. Pretty cool. It's nice to have public telephones back in the day. It'd be nice if we still had some. It's pretty neat. They had the old printing presses in here. A cylinder press, linotype. Some other things in here. I wonder if they ran out of ink as quickly as printers do these days. They got a Coke bottle up there. So this is pretty cool. I don't know how well it's gonna come out, but it's an old radio station. It's really dark inside there. Just, that's why it's kind of hard for it to focus on. Pretty neat. They have a mock old movie theater in case you're interested in watching some old featurettes. Fascinating. I don't really understand why. And then they have this projector. It's supposed to be showing it. Pretty neat. Get a little closer so you can see it better. 1938 until 52, this type of projector was used. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away. Hidden Disney. So it's pretty interesting. There's the ice box, the literal ice box. They delivered ice to their home back in the day. One thing I don't understand is, what does this have to do with South Carolina? I mean, these are some cool kitchen gadgets from back in the day, but what does it have to do with South Carolina?
Make an L. L. G. I. T.
Sure he did. Sure he did. You gotta move it rapidly so I can get the picture. There's a shark there. Can't really see it on the camera, but you can see it in person. It's making like a shark.
Interesting. You will subscribe to the channel.
You will subscribe. It also reminds me of a Batman Beyond villain.
You will subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to the channel.
I will subscribe to the channel.
I will always like the video.
I will always like the videos.
I will comment on the video.
I will comment on said video. I got an Apollo 16 exhibit.
I think maybe because one of the pilots.
It doesn't really say what this has to do with South Carolina, though.
This person he was raised in Lancaster, South Carolina, and he was the youngest person to set foot on the moon.
Oh, okay. Here's some moon rocks collected in 1971, and there's the case they came back in.
I don't think they're real. Why? Because they'd be radiation.
So they have a replica Land Rover that you can sit on. Nacy has refused, but you know, that's how she rolls.
Yep.
Here's some important people from South Carolina who apparently involved in the space program. Robert Satcher is the only one in an actual astronaut outfit, though. You go, Mr. Satcher. You go. So here's a piece of the moon for you. Pretty cool. Collected in 1972. The Pacific Science Center would disagree with you. The dwarf planet of Pluto.
Uranus looks more like a gas.
Does Uranus look like gas to you guys? Let us know in those comments. Here's another random find at this museum. It's a space shuttle tire. A space shuttle tire, of all things.
Pretty sure that's Vegas.
This is very weird. We'll take a look at it. Now, what did you say when I was talking about the space shuttle tire?
Oh, I said I'm pretty sure that's Vegas.
So she thinks that's Las Vegas. I think it is too. Yeah.
Pretty sure that's Las Vegas.
So you push the button and then it does some light pumping in action. Anybody else do some light pumping? Light pumping, yeah. This is a pretty cool diorama we found right before we went back upstairs to level 4.
It doesn't work.
One of the things we found is a lot of buttons don't work at this museum.
Nope.
It's still a cool diorama.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like no train diorama is complete though without a Thomas in there. Without a Thomas, it's just not complete. So here's a continuation of that diorama we just showed you on the other side of the wall. The train still doesn't work though. Pretty cool. It's supposed to be a diorama of like Charlotte, Greenville, kind of what typical city used to look like. Kind of still looks like that if you ask me.
Look at that.
Oh, check out all the trash. Train wheels?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Itty bitty car. I don't know where that plane's gonna take off at. Pretty cool. So this definitely reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean. Like that little outpost area. Fort. This is Fort Moultrie?
Yeah.
Is it,
It was constructed of palmetto tree logs.
I wonder if they had a lot of palmetto bugs in there.
And it's used to stand on Sullivan's Island.
Interesting.
Not to be confused with Gulligan's Island.
One thing we've noticed is they're always showing violent scenes in this museum.
Is that supposed to be a tar pit?
I think he's just in the mud. I think they killed him and he's just in the mud. It was probably drinking by the water and that's where they killed it, so it's kind of like a stream. That's my guess. I don't know. Well, that's disappointing. We actually thought there was going to be animatronics or something. There's someone inside. Fascinating. That's pretty interesting. They got 2 dueling pistols that were actually used in a duel between Perry and Bynum. Fascinating. There's a gentleman's walking cane.
Oh God, I thought there were people in there again.
So here's a mock-up of a submarine that they used in the Civil War to try to break a Union blockade. It's called the USS, or the CSS Hunley. Yeah, why would it be the USS then? Yeah. Anyways. It was used at the bottom of the Charleston Harbor.
But it was built in Mobile.
Yes, and they shipped it by train to South Carolina.
So why wouldn't you just put it in the water?
Because they would have had to do that the entire way. Hashtag we found the carpetbagger. We have found the carpetbagger.
We should take a picture and tag it.
That's pretty neat. It's a prosthetic leg. Isaac C. Bogan of Union County. He lost an arm at the Battle of Shiloh. I know I pronounced that incorrectly. And then, it doesn't really say what the leg is from though. It just says the arm. So apparently he used that to eat because he didn't have an arm. It would like hook in somewhere, I guess.
Fascinating.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Got some sidearms. You got the Colt, a LeMat revolver, a Remington, Colt Navy, Colt Pocket, and the Smith & Wesson 22.
Why didn't they just use water? See, that's the beginning of it, right there. Japanese toilets, everybody.
Well, now she's saying that the newspapers were used to wipe people's butts. We also used an outhouse in Utah. So if you're ever in Utah and you're at one of those recreation areas, they still have outhouses. So they still do exist, folks. So this says Rural Reeton and Ratton, and it is a schoolhouse.
This is actually, it says the Berry School was built in 1875, and the one-room school stood near Reedville in Spartanburg County. The school closed in 1905, and then it was a house until the 1970s. And then in 1982, it was donated to the State Museum. The ceilings and interior walls and floor of the school are original. Since little is known of the teachers or the subjects they taught here, the building is furnished like a typical one-room school of 1910. And you can go in on the other side. So
I'm gonna go check it on the other side. If you ever want to see our New York one, we went to a schoolhouse in New York.
Ichabod Crane.
So check that out in the upper right-hand corner. There's some noises going on in this room.
Well, John, you gonna move a checker or you just gonna sit there all day?
Do they serve cocaine?
Don't you worry.
So this is an old general store. Pretty cool. Pretty cool recreation.
Would you make it back then? There's the ice bucket down there.
Yeah, check that out, an ice bucket. Probably have to fill it with the ice that they did with the machine that we saw in the other room a while back. Oh, my dad had one of those, the Coca-Cola bottle openers.
And there's the post office.
Yeah, there's a little everything in here. A horse, whatever, mule thingies that they put on them so they can plow the fields and stuff. Pretty cool. Some guns, fishing rods. There's that post office Nancy was talking about. Sell your seed.
Well, John, you gonna move a checker or
Spitting
you
on
just
floors
gonna
of
sit
all
there all day?
prohibited by the Board of Health.
Don't you worry.
So this kind of looks like a haunted mansion hearse, as Nancy just said. Fancy. Doesn't really.
Apparently, many country stores could provide a hearse, as well as a coffin hardware, and fabric for the lining. Poor families continue to make their coffins in the traditional way. And then they
Fancy.
have like coffin decorations. I mean, you can't talk about the Civil War without talking about death, so.
Different headstones you could buy. Sears and Roebuck. No, it is Sears and Roebuck. That was funny. I was making a joke, but it is actually a Sears and Roebuck ad. Check it out. Teacher would stand here, and that would be his students. His or her students, I guess.
Interesting. Okay, so this is called the Pier Mirror. It's from 1875. The maker's unknown, but for 100 years, this mirror stood in the main parlor of the distinguished Blanding Street home in Columbia, which we drove past when we were looking for the murals.
Yeah, so check out that video in the upper right-hand corner.
Legend has the mirror was ordered by the governor. However, when it arrived, the disgraced official lacked the funds to move it from the railway warehouse. There the mirror remained stored for more than a decade. And then the Blanding homeowner found it, purchased it for his wife, and had it installed in the parlor.
I'm always fascinated by these old gas pumps. They're so
Yeah.
cool looking.
If I ever had a house, I'd buy some old gas pumps. I like the look of them.
You have to tell me if you've ever done a soapbox derby. I've always wanted to do a soapbox derby car when I was a kid. Never had any ability to do it, but that's pretty cool. It's a soapbox derby from like the 1970s. Check out the
that's
wheels.
cool.
So this was used in the 1980s. That's awesome.
Hey, man, you ever take a picture of that? You're going to see another one of those.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think so either.
So this guitar right here is actually used with both your feet and your hands. So like to make different sounds, you put it over your lap and then you push the buttons with your feet and then you strum the top like a guitar. Super awesome. So one of the things they do have here is a huge collection of old telescopes. Look at them all. I always wondered why they have like the brass gold color, like why they're made out of that. It's still super neat looking, and I don't know why. So if you know, let us know in the comments below why they're always like a brass gold color. So there's this big observatory. Observatory? There we go. Look at that. That is super cool. And then like that little slit opens and they look out in the night sky. So the telescope we just showed you was $20,000 in 1926.
That's crazy.
250,000 plus in today's dollar. So this is the Henry Fitz telescope from 1849. It's a 5.6-inch telescope, and it's Erskine College in Due West, South Carolina. And it's the oldest example of a telescope made in the U.S. Fascinating.
There's a telescope gallery.
State flag, state seal.
It's all the way straight back.
Something interesting is they do have some blues displays of a local artist who did some music here. Blues Doctor from Drink Small. So outside the planetarium, there is a moon lander. I guess it's just a lander. Space.
Space.
Pretty cool.
Space.
And this is the big ball for the planetarium.
Space. All right, so that's going to conclude our day here at the South Carolina State Museum.
Yeah, pretty cool. Definitely if you come here, go to level 4. That is the most South Carolina of the museum. The rest of it's just kind of general pieces of history and science.
It's actually a very affordable museum. It's only $8 for adults. And we spent a couple hours in here just kind of walking around, roaming around, and it's even cheaper for kids. So if you're in the Columbia area and you're looking for something to do on a gloomy, cloudy day like we were, you should check this place out.
And there are 2 shows. They do have a 4D penguin show right now, and then they have the observatory that does different shows, but because it's cloudy outside, the observatory is not open today.
Unfortunately, but still really cool if you're out here and looking for something fun to do. They have a lot of like history stuff. Not all of it has to do with South Carolina though.
Yeah, especially if you're not on the 4th floor, a lot of it is just history in general of just kind of everything from TV to radio to just a variety of different subjects, animals. It's
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
like
dinosaurs.
There's like an overall science kind of, hey, like this is what this is and this is what that is. So there's like a general science overview. There's a little space overview and some natural history.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up
Make sure you hit that subscribe button
and ring that notification bell so you get notified when we do at least 3 videos a week.
and we'll come and get you guys for the next one.
Ain't that the truth, baby Ruth?
Bye.